They say legends are born from whispers, but this one roared through the internet with a scream. And what if I told you everything you've heard about Annabelle was twisted by Hollywood and masked by mystery? The truth, the terrifying truth, starts not with the movie, but with Dan Rivera, the man whose name has become inseparable from the real Annabelle case, and what he uncovered will chill you deeper than any film ever could. Forget the porcelain-faced Hollywood prop, because the real Annabelle was a raggedy and dull, innocent-looking yet shrouded in sinister energy, and Rivera, driven by obsession and a quest for clarity, dove into a reality more terrifying than any horror fiction. He wasn't just another ghost chaser. He was a man haunted by questions, who walked into places no sane person dared, who touched what others refused to be near, and who spoke of moments so cursed that people begged him to stop, yet he never did. He found discrepancies in the Warren story, he challenged what the internet worshipped as gospel, and what he unearthed became a tale of deception, misdirection, and something much darker than demonic possession, the manipulation of fear. Imagine waking up knowing a doll you own may carry not a demon, but the memories of grief and energy so intense it shifts the air. Rivera believed this, not because of what he saw, but because of what followed him home. He recalled instances where shadows moved when there was no light, where whispers echoed in his empty rooms, and where the doll, yes, the doll, somehow found its way to the center of attention, again and again, like it wanted to be seen, feared, remembered. And still, people mocked him, labeled him a fraud, a fearmonger, until those same people found themselves plagued by nightmares and unexplainable chaos. Was the doll cursed? Possessed? Or something worse, an emotional sponge soaked in past traumas, drawing new ones in like a magnet? Rivera spoke of energy fields, of measurable shifts, of electromagnetic spikes that science couldn't reason with. He didn't try to make you believe, he dared you not to. His interviews, now dissected by experts and skeptics alike, show a man unraveling, either from obsession or from uncovering too much. But here's the twist. Rivera never wanted fame. He wanted peace. Yet Annabelle offered none. He documented visits to the Warren Occult Museum, and each trip seemed to gnaw at his sanity. He noticed how the museum's containment methods looked theatrical, staged almost, and he questioned why a force so evil could be boxed behind mere glass. Was it a performance? Or had something already left the doll, moved on, and what remained was just an empty husk, used to market fear? The more questions he asked, the stranger things became. Recordings would glitch when he spoke about Annabelle, emails would vanish, photos distorted without cause. He believed something wanted silence, and yet here he was, screaming into a void of believers and deniers. In one of his last public statements, Rivera described a chilling night where cold drafts swept his home despite sealed windows, a voice whispered his name, and the unmistakable sound of fabric dragging across wood echoed behind him. He turned, and there it was, the doll he'd left sealed in storage, now somehow sitting on his hallway floor. Whether coincidence or curse, it changed him. But the internet didn't listen. They clipped his videos for laughs, twisted his accounts into TikTok content, and reduced his warnings to background noise behind flashy edits. But this isn't entertainment. This is your warning. The real Annabelle story is not about blood and gore, it's about belief, emotional energy, and a man consumed by truth. When you stare into the eyes of something that shouldn't move, breathe, or speak, but somehow does, you realize horror isn't always fiction. It's often just buried truth. And Dan Rivera, he unearthed it. Whether you believe in spirits, curses, or none of it at all, there's something undeniable about the intensity of those who've stood near the real Annabelle. Their silence afterward, their withdrawal from public life, their refusal to talk, it speaks volumes. Maybe it's guilt. Maybe it's fear. Or maybe the doll does more than scare, it silences. Rivera once asked, what if fear is the truth? And no one had an answer. Because sometimes, when we stop laughing, the silence gets too loud, and Annabelle, whether a cursed object or collective psychological mirror, sits and waits. And if you're watching this, you're already part of the story.